welcome back to another video on WrestleMania and to another edition of Raw Out of 10. And of course, a big show today because we got all of the fallout from Crown Jewel. And yeah, obviously Survivor Series War Games on November the 25th actually isn't that long away, so we got lots of build up to that with matches starting to be announced. But we stick things off with a video recapping Crown Jewel before Seth made his way to the ring, thanking Drew McIntyre for not aligning with the Judgment Day so they could have a fair match. Sami Zayn then showed up and Rollins thanked him for getting in Damian Priest's way and preventing him from cashing in his contract at the weekend. The Visionary told him that he could have a shot at the world title, and Zayn opted to take it in the main event. Both of these guys were great, and the crowd seems to be having a good time, but this segment was maybe quite long as maybe it needs to be, but still a really, really fun segment, I thought. Setting up that main event went nicely, and yeah, obviously going to tie in stuff later on in the night, so yeah, worked well for me. Our first match between New Day and the Judgment Day, Kofi and Xavier had a chance to prove they deserve a tag title match by facing them in a non-title bout. The former two world champions started for the teams when Balor and Kingston had a fast-paced exchange that led to a double team sequence from the New Day. The Irishman and Priest gained a solid tag team. They've been giving different skills to the table, but find ways to combine, so they're a well-oiled machine. The match ended relatively clean, with Balor hitting a coup de grace on Woods for the pin. This was a decent match that didn't overstay its welcome and gave the champions a win over one of the most successful WWE teams in history. So of course, building them up, not too much interference, which is a rarity with bloodline matches these days. But for me, like I say, worked really nicely. 7 out of 10, big win for the Judgment Day here. Moving on into Akira Tozawa versus Shinsuke Nakamura. In an attempt to impress Alpha Academy, Tozawa challenged Nakamura to match. The former 205 Live regular went right off the King of Strong Style after few nice moves like a German suplex and suicide dive. They traded control back and forth a few times before Nakamura took his opponent down with the Kinshasa for the relatively quick win. The match had great energy and included more offense from Tozawa than expected, but it was still on the short side. Otis confronted Nakamura afterwards and just walked away from the powerhouse. Yeah, this was alright. I don't know, maybe I'd like to see Nakamura with his recent heel run do something a bit more than the Alpha Academy, but let's give it time to see where it goes. Could just be intermediary route. But moving on into the Miz versus Bronson Reed versus Ivar versus Ricochet for a shot at Gunther's IC Championship. The Miz, Reed and Ricochet all had run-ins with the title holder at some point, and Ivar had been on a roll, so this bout wasn't as predictable as a lot of matches we get out every week. The Miz and Ricochet sort of teamed up at first to take on the two powerhouses, but they started going after each other the moment they were alone in the ring. The highlight of the night sent the A-list over the ropes before Ivar knocked off his block off with a spinning kick for a 2 count. The first few minutes of the match gave everyone a bit of the time of the upper hand. We saw every combination of opponents clash before we got to the commercial break. Everyone in the crowd seemed to get most excited whenever Ivar and Reed would lock horns, so that might be a few WWE needs to consider at some point. This was a fun and frenetic finish though that made all 4 guys look good, which is not an easy situation like this. The Miz hit several moves we don't usually see from him to get a big pop. The ending seemed a bit screwed up, maybe based on how the ref reacted. The Miz and Ivar were supposed to get the pin maybe at the same time, but Ricochet kicked out in what might have been a mistake. But yeah, let's see about that. Ivar beat him down afterwards. We'll see, I guess, if it's a mistake in the coming weeks. But it did look a bit messy. But until that point, it's a really fun match. So I'm still going to give it a 7 out of 10. Babyface Miz is kind of over to the surprise of my expectations. Let's give it time to see about it. The Miz versus Gunther will be fun. 7 out of 10. We then had the Creed brothers taking on DIY. Brutus and Julius followed up their successful Raw debut against Alpha Academy last week with this match. The Creeds came into their own with a power advantage, but DIY had the edge and experience. Their teams ended up being pretty even. They didn't waste time by starting slowly to feel each other out. They got right into the action and packed quite a bit into the first few minutes before the break. Both of these duos were great at double team offense, so we saw plenty of innovative spots sprinkled throughout the match, with both teams being babyfaces right now. This is a good clean contest. We've seen 2 teams who could be an important part of the division going forward. Ciampa saved Gargano from taking the Brutus ball, but it was all for naught. Ludwig Kaiser interfered and cost DIY the match to give the Creeds their second win. This helped protect DIY and further view Imperium while they're giving a new young team the victory. So yeah, in a way, I didn't mind this interference, and it gets a 7 out of 10 from me. I thought, really fun match. Creed brothers established themselves, sets up that feud. You can't really complain. Moving on then to the Battle Royal to determine who would face Rhea Ripley at Survivor Series. It included all the big names you can think of from Raw, but Lee attacked Lynch during her entrance, so Pierce told us she was no longer in a match and sent her to the back. After another break, the Battle Royal got started, and there was a few comedy spots, a few interesting confrontations, and a couple of surprising eliminations, and it led us to the final 3 competitors, who were Baylor, Rodriguez and Stark. After 3 super kicks to the DDT to the Queen of Spades, Stark scored the final elimination to get the win, and she will take on Ripley at Survivor Series. And yeah, there were so many people who I would have been supportive of winning here, but we got Zoe Stark, and I think, yeah, after the run she had with Trish, she definitely deserves it, and yeah, really excited to see what she can do in such a big stage, a traditional Big Four pay-per-view. Really looking forward to it. This is a fun battle royal as well, so yeah, I'm not against this at all. But moving on into Seth Rollins as he took on Sami Zayn in our main event. For the title. The two men are friends who respect each other, so they started with a simple, clean lock-up that led to a nice technical sequence. Zayn played some mind games by patting Rollins on his injured back to show that he could have attacked it, but chose not to. The offense got more aggressive as the context progressed, but they kept it within the confines of the rule. Both competitors were taking a lot of risks that feel like an important main event. Unsurprisingly, Zayn and Rollins put on a great performance, and this was met with a chance of "this is awesome." After struggling to counter Boston Crab, the Visionary managed to roll his opponent over and keep him down for the pin. The Judgment Day attacked Zayn as he was leaving the ring, and Rollins ended up getting taken down when he tried to help. Jey Uso came out to assist Rollins and Zayn, but the tide didn't turn until Cody showed up. Several producers and security guards broke up the fight. Pierce had a meltdown on the mic. He booked the Judgment Day versus Zayn, Uso, and Rollins and Road for War Games. And yeah, this was great stuff. A brilliant match. Sami just falling short again, but such a brilliant match. And then after that, the setup for War Games, which was fantastic. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. I thought, yeah, this is a brilliant ending to Raw. Overall, Raw this week gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Yeah, I thought it was a really good episode of Raw this week. Enjoyed it, I have to say, pretty much from start to finish. Some really good matches in there. Setting out Survivor Series, kind of looks interesting already. So yeah, War Games coming back, you gotta love it. But yeah, I thought for a Monday Night Raw, one of the best in a long time, to be honest. Good stuff. 7 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's it for you. Thanks so much for watching. Share, subscribe, links, for daily wrestling news and subscribe to the channel. It's going to be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.